This episode is brought to you by FanRoll, your source for premium gaming dice. Get 10% off dice and dice accessories at fanrolldice.com with our code TRIALS10. They have a huge selection of metal, resin, and even a couple of other novelty dice. So go check that out and get 10% off your order with code TRIALS10. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 221 of Trials and Trebuchets. I am your Dungeon Master, Luke, and joining me are my wonderful players, one of whom just died.
What about the characters?
Oh, wait, yes, his character died.
Hi, my name is Ben. It's just me. I'm just here again. There's no one else.
Just hanging out.
But I will be possessing the tiny little body of the stupid little imp Diplin, so
Diplin.
I get to be a little goblin gremlin this episode.
He's an imp, thank you.
Okay, whatever. Shut the fuck up.
How dare you, Ben? You can't possess an imp. You're not a demon slayer. Hi everyone, buongiorno. It's me, Carla, and I play the level 11 tiefling roguelock integrity, Idle Berry. I have no intro because holy shit, what the fuck was that?
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I play Mira Marchand, the level 11 half-elf bard. Amazing D8, how sweet the sound that enervates our friend. Boo once was here, but now he's downed. Our journey's at an end.
Hallelujah, amen!
Fucking dead, yo.
Hey guys, it's me, Sam. I play the Executioner level 11 human sorceress Serenep Cinderman. We have to learn to stop doing things. Don't ask Serenep, what are you willing to do to save your friend? Because the answer is kick your ass.
We are rough out here.
We are rough out here.
This is a blooper. Another word count I would love on this one is just the phrase, what would you be willing to do? That got said to a bit. A lot.
Hey, at least Boo got his answer of what I would be willing to do, which is kill him.
And
now we're
last
on the floor.
time on Trials and Trebuchets, the students stood off against Boo Bolero, bargaining Whimsy's lead for the twin coin Mira held. Offering peace and a plan to get the coin back, Boo rejected the offer, fearful of retaliation from Celti should they attempt to betray her, and knowing that the coin was within his grasp. In a single moment, tendrils of necrotic energy cut Boo down, ending his flight from death. In the aftermath, the students learnt of lies told and betrayals from Galvan's maw of deceit, eventually settling on trying to sneak past Horst and retrieve Winsler from a chalice in her domain without her noticing. Accompanied by the architect, Captain Kreschel, and Diplin the Imp, the group now climb to their final fated meeting with the Fiend of Death. We are in a rickety stone elevator. Is the sound of the ratchet as it raises up into the air. You can hear wind billowing and blowing outside as you exit into the storm which surrounds the plain of Lem. A little voice in your, not pocket, but silk satchel, Integrity Idleberry, will make a quiet plea to you, though the rest of you can hear this grasping, gaping mouth speaking to her, and it will say, "Wielder, I offer you a chance to use Galvan's leftover foresight in exchange for that chain you fed me. I know not of what you walk into, a trap mayhaps, but if you tapped into the power within, you might be able to divine some fortune for yourself."
By foresight, you're saying that I can know of his plans?
By foresight, I mean ask of your own plans and deeds and receive an answer from a power beyond me. Integrity Idleberry, if you want, you can cast the spell Divination once using the Maw of Deceit.
Ooh.
That will allow you to ask a question, a single question concerning a specific goal or event within the next 7 days, although we all know it'll be sooner than that. And you will get a truthful answer.
This is a lot of power.
Yes, that is why Galvan was so powerful. And you saw what good that did him.
Just one question? This is not the
One.
question.
But a single question asked, and the one God, them, will answer.
I have to use this right now.
No.
This very moment.
No, but it would be dramatic, and it'll probably help you out. You could use it when you're done and be like, hey, wasn't that sick? And then we'll be like, yeah, it was awesome.
Are we gonna get out of this alive?
A less severe voice emanates from Integrity's silk satchel, and you hear it say, the exit lies in wait for any daring enough to take the plunge.
We have to jump out a window.
The plunge?
The plunge. Like the thing you use to unclog a toilet.
The
No.
dive, the plunge.
And as this little cryptic phrase is uttered to all of your little ears, some of you have big ears, but some have little, the elevator reaches its apex. Check. The imp shivers and looks over at the group of you, 6 strong now, as the elevator doors slide open to reveal a vine-covered hallway. And this imp will say, I ask no tip, but good fortunes in the moments to come.
Thank you.
Good fortunes to you as well.
Oh, I don't need such things.
We're all gonna
okay.
die.
Oh!
Dippling, calm down.
And the 6 of you, led by Serenup Cinderman, Integrity Idleberry, and Mira Marchand, exit out into this hall. A place that you've already stepped before and walked along. It is a long, plain hallway. You can walk down it. It's the same as the rest of the suite hallways, where doors would be are replaced. There's massive vines coating everything. Flowers of black and white, both in bloom. As you walk down this hallway, they give off a slight light to guide you on your way and darken behind you, making this hallway seem ever more lengthy than it truly is. Before you know it, crossing over this rugose ground, you come to a square room with a bird bath in the middle. On the far side of the wall, there is a large set of double doors which stand ajar, through which you know Horst's dining room to be. An attendant stands next to this bird bath. He is short. He has this dark skin and this little bowl cut. No, he doesn't have a bowl cut. He has a, what's it called? Buzz cut, like shaved head. He stands there looking at you. You all recognize this young man, F, who has helped you a couple times so far during your stay. And he has this very terrified, one might say, expression on his face. The moment that the group of you emerge from the darkness of the hallway, he will hinge at the hips, bowing deeply, and will say, welcome to the Fiend of Death's domain. Long may you remain her happy and respectful guests.
We are both of those things, and we would like to have an audience with her now. She asked to see us.
Yes, I am well aware.
Okay.
He says, the chain still tight around his neck. He stares over your guys' head at Diana, this luminescent, horned and winged angel standing there, crouched slightly, chisel in hand. He does regard her for some time before looking in your eyes, Mira, and he will say, please do be safe in meeting with Our Lady Horst, and will bow, and the 6 of you can walk past if that is what you would like to do. Or, in this case, is someone going to try to hide, disguise, rush past?
Are we sure this is a good idea? I mean, she could kill us all.
Diplin,
Yes.
we'll protect you, okay? Just
Put a little
try
hand
to
on his shoulder.
just try to get out of our way. And
Okay,
if you start getting attacked, feign death. Pretend that you're dead, so that you
Feign
don't
death?
keep on getting killed.
Or just
Pretend that I'm
lie
dead?
down and yeah, they won't kill you if they think you're dead.
I guess that sounds like sound logic. Sure. If you think that'll keep me safe, then I'll do it.
Yep.
So, Integrity Idleberry, you
And I'm
push
gonna-
Diplin off of your pant sleeves.
I'm gonna
What would you like to do?
I'm gonna face Serenith and Mira. I
Mm-hmm.
think it is best if we try to act like we don't know the lie.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, you asked us to bring her here. We brought, her here just like you said. We are, hapless fools.
And I'm gonna hide behind you and I guess like pretend that I'm not there and maybe I can try to get to the other side.
Think you can sneak over to the door?
I could. We haven't. Me asking us, Sam, we haven't really tried using magic in that room, have
No,
we?
you haven't. In her dining room? No. Because I think all of you wanted to be polite dinner guests.
Yeah. I'm gonna whisper to her. I would offer invisibility for you, but I don't know if that would help your sneaking or not,
I mean,
given what we don't know about her abilities.
It could help, because either way, I'm gonna try and get to the other side, with or without invisibility. You just need to know what's on the other side.
I'm going to hold my hand out to
Yes.
Integrity
Mhm.
if she wants to take it, so I can cast a spell if she wants it, but I'm gonna have it be her choice
Her
in
choice.
this.
Integrity, a hand is extended. Do you take the olive branch? Or do you take the magical boon, as it were?
Give it to me.
I
You high
that's
five.
weird.
You high five. Integrity says,
Damn right.
"Give it to me." You high five, and Integrity, whoosh, like a invisible person, is now invisible.
wow.
F standing here, horse attendant, is not looking at any of you and has his hands over his ears, willfully pleading ignorance on the subject.
respect.
With that, Mira Marchand and Serenap Cinderman, you can walk up to this tall door and push it wide and open, stepping in to Horst's dining room. You see before you, as you enter into this room, this long red wooden table, not set for anyone really. At the far end of this room, which is enveloped in myriad vines, just like the hallway before it, there is the door to what you know to be Horst's office, or what you presume to be Horst's office, the door behind which you seek fortunes, known as your friend. You see that it is open a crack, like no more than like 2 inches. The two doors are parted slightly, so that a single like streak of light emanates from the room and casts like a orange glow over this dining room that you're all sitting in. And then you can also see sitting in front of the door at her rightful place, as you had last seen her, is the Fiend of Death, Horst. This pale-skinned woman with a single onyx horn emerging from the middle of her forehead. These dark, perfectly black eyes, no hair whatsoever, and these raven-like wings swept behind her. She's wearing a wonderful, very, very beautiful black tuxedo with white embroidery all over the shoulders and down the arms. She is sitting with her legs crossed, hands steepled, and leaning back in this very grand-looking dining room chair. In front of her on the table, and you can immediately see this when you walk in, are 2 identical-looking stone circlets. Mira and Serenap, they both seem to have diamonds encrusted into it that gleam a little bit in the light of the room. As you do walk in, she like breathes slightly, almost in relief, you might see, and then she looks behind you at the looming figure of Diana who enters, and she will make eye contact with you, Mira Marchand, and you, Serenap Cinderman, just dancing between the two of you, and say, "Wonderful work, ladies. Exceeding my every expectation, it seems."
The Fiend of Whimsy is dead, and
So I've felt.
Gianna is here.
So she is.
I hope that our work has met your standards.
Your work has far exceeded my standards, to be candid with you. People don't often deliver to such high levels, you know? Not listening to every letter of the contract, but you two. And she enunciates that word with a lot of, it's a difficult emotion to read, but she enunciates, you two, very heavily, have done very well for me. Killing Galvan. Could not have been easy. Although I do question, when we had last spoke, I didn't tell you it was absolutely necessary. What drove you to such extreme measures?
It seemed like the best way out.
Hmm.
And we're very effective. We don't like to leave loose ends.
So I have come to know during your stay here. Now, is there anything else you would need of me? Or is our business at an end? Who are those guests behind you? And she kind of looks towards Kreschel and Diplin hiding further behind the door. Who do you bring into my domain willy-nilly?
The fight was dangerous and deadly, and we picked up a little bit of help on the way.
Picked up help, lost help. I see how it is.
Our friend, Winsler Wallaby,
Did you not find him?
No, and we wondered if you might have any idea where we could.
She steeples her hands in front of her and does put on a pensive expression. You could insight check that if you really wanted to.
I mean, I have a feeling this is deceptive, but I'll insight check it anyway.
Serenap, feel free as well.
Can I also do it as an invisible?
Absolutely, Integrity. The three of you can.
22.
Maybe
22.
That's a natural one.
Also, Mira, can you just make a deception check at large for me?
Yeah.
that is a non-natural 20.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Sorry. I was looking at the wrong character sheet. So it was actually a 20.
Okay.
I have a +4, not a +6. I was like, I don't have a -1 to deception. Still not great though, because I rolled a 14 for deception.
Okay.
Total.
Okay. Serenap, she's spitting facts. She's not really prying that much into the situation. Mira and Integrity, with your roles, there is a almost humor in her eyes, like she's reading straight through or looking straight through all of your tall tales or whatsoever. Integrity Idleberry, I need you particularly to make a stealth check. Also, obviously, deceitful. Combined with your knowledge, combined with that playful look in her eyes, like a cat batting at a dead mouse. Yeah. Integrity, make a
Would there be
stealth check.
Would it be advantage because
Make
I'm
a stealth
invisible? Okay, so just one, no advantage.
Just one.
Okay. Ooh, that is a 29.
A 20?
17
Holy
plus
shit.
12.
Describe to me how it is how the circumstances aid you, how fate helps you cross this room such that Horst's eyes never once look upon you.
Is there like breeze in the room?
There can be a light breeze. There's a dusty smell emanating.
So I think like Integrity sort of dances with the wind so that every single like step like coincides with like the movement of
The
wind.
movement of the wind, the creaking of a vine, the billowing of one of the many drapes covering the walls and ceiling. You move as a part of this room and nothing more, whisper and nothing else, and can maneuver until you are just at the crack in the door. You can hear from here Horst's subtle breaths to herself. You can see Integrity that she's kind of tapping her finger together in a kind of discreet way. You wouldn't notice it if you were so far away where Mira and Serenap were standing, but you see it now, a sign of like almost impatience as she waits and makes conversation with these two. But you stand behind her chair and you can look through the crack in the door. Within, you see a partially illuminated office. The entire back wall seems to be made completely of glass, like little glass panes welded together, almost what should be, or what would in a different place probably be stained glass, but here is just plain, transparent, clear stuff. Nothing but the good stuff. You see a bureau, a big chubby desk, reminiscent of the one in Whimsy's own office. And behind that, in the center of the room, you hear like you have this acrid. There's this acrid smell, almost like smell that you would recognize, Integrity, in the springtime when people in Dry Falls are fixing their roofs. If there's any leaks, when they're putting pitch and tar on the roof, maybe putting new shingles on, you recognize that smell emanating from the room within. And you also see behind the desk, there's like a very tall chalice on a like pedestal. The chalice is made of wood. It is probably 3 feet tall, and you see it is overflowing with coins.
Ooh.
as they fall to the ground, they make no noise as they hit it.
Is this the same chalice from when we were doing those visions of different planes?
Integrity Idleberry. It is a sight, especially with your keen mind, that immediately pulls you back to the day you were underneath the city of Troil, and you had been taken through an astral portal to the moon, and you'd been shown visions of the different planes. This chalice is unmistakably that, although the fire and brimstone is so missing, replaced with vines and this smell of tar. What would you like to do?
I first would like to, within that crevice, try to look for any traps. Like,
Make an investigation check.
Like if I ever enter that room, if there's anything that I can set off that will, learning from the whole Bailey Blue situation, you know?
Yeah. Learning from the not from the whimsy thing. Jeez Louise.
Oh no, I'm more so talking
Yeah,
about
I know,
like, how when
don't
I
worry.
open the drawer
With an
itself.
alarm. Make an investigation check for me.
How alarming.
How does an 18 sound?
18. You see there's the vines coating the walls, the ceiling, the floors. Or I should say in the office, there's a big drape hanging from the ceiling, just the same as the dining room. But the rest of the surfaces in this office, as well as the desk itself, it seems only the chalice has escaped these vines, which they move like a lazy squid's tentacles, meandering around like a person without sight, touching with their fingers to find something in the dark. They move very deliberately and almost intelligently across the surfaces in this room. In the rest of Horst's domain, the vines are rather inert. You can step on them. You can deduce that these seem to be a bit more live, as it were, and stepping upon one would possibly alert the vines or Horst to your presence.
Yeah. Except for where the chalice is.
The surface of the desk, where someone would have to write, is clear, and so too is the chalice and most of the windows. But you can't see out the windows or anything, so who knows? You can't just jump out. What do you want to do?
Take the plunge.
This might sound super dumb.
I assure you it doesn't.
But I would like to... Because if I misty stepped, would I stay invisible?
No, you would not. But you would be silently through the doors, where no one could really see you.
Yeah, because, I feel like opening the doors would cause a creaking, and I would have to walk through these live vines. So I think I'm going to cast Misty Step.
By all means. Where would you like to land?
Onto the desk.
Perfectly. Integrity Idleberry, you whisper an incantation silent under your breath and disappear into a cloud of mist, rematerializing upon Horst's own desk. You land gracefully and silently, and the vines around you are none the wiser. And with your vantage point, you can look around the room. Meanwhile, outside, as you guys create an opening for Integrity, Horst does so regard you all. She makes that kind of expression when you ask about Winslow Wallaby, and she goes, "Where could he possibly be? You were thorough in checking the Fiend of Whimsy's entire domain. I know he's a man with many secrets hidden away. Perchance your friend was on ice, similar to our wonderful guest behind you."
I didn't know you knew she was in the ice. Yeah, we looked through all of the people who were there, and the ice even started to melt at the end, but he wasn't there. And like what Mira is kind of trying to do here is just talk for a very long time. Just keep her in conversation so that Integrity can sneak in. And she's like, yeah, well, there was the room where, it was called, people were being heated up again, but that would take several centuries. And I think, Deanna was very distinctive, and some people looked kind of like her, but nobody looked quite like Winsler. He's also a very distinctive figure. I mean, we've gone to
her. What could you possibly mean by that? Looked like her. There's
well,
only one Deanna. And she stands
but
here in the room with us.
Well, clothes from a long time ago and that sort of thing.
Apostles and such nonsense. Well, how I can assure you this: if you return to your room I could make my business with Diana here now, and then she looks up at you with like a blank stare and says, assist you find your friend amidst the pandemonium below.
Is there any chance we could use your eye again? I mean, it said that it was that, Winsler was with the fiend, but now there is no fiend, so it would probably show something different, right?
That's true. We could ask it.
Yeah, that would, if you would be so willing. I mean, I don't want to ask for too much, but I know that you did say we exceeded your expectations, and it's just one thing, and, we would really appreciate it.
I only make concrete deals. Just because you exceed my expectations, blow me away, does not so mean that you get extra favors from me.
It's only a humble request.
There's a chair by the wall, and she moves her head and looks to the left, and you see a vine-covered chair, the same that you can recall Count Hucktool was strapped to. The vines on this also seem quite alive, ready to restrain anyone who so should sit in the chair. She'll look at it and say, a simple favor from me, and a simple favor I shall give back to you. If you could be so kind as to place the chair at the end of the table and assist our most special guest in sitting down so that we might have a chat.
I'm going to glance over to Mira because I am concentrating on... Well, no, actually, because it got broken.
Yes,
because
you can when
Okay, so-
Diana looks over to the left where the chair is, you can at that time sense like the disappearance of the invisibility. You all see behind her like this little coalescence of mist as Integrity successfully gets into the office. Sarah, you can breathe a sigh of relief. Now, what would you like to do?
I'm going to make my way across the room in a way that I'm walking more in the path of the vines and I'm being very careful not to step on the vines. Like I'm adding more time to this,
Yes,
basically.
just killing time.
By not
Absolutely.
making it look like it, because I'm like, oh, I just have to step over the vines, right?
As you do so, she kind of looks past you, Mira, and will say, Diana, oh, it's been so long since I've seen your face. What a sight for sore eyes. I didn't expect them to bring you to me so fully and full of life, truth be told. I expected a little ice cube delivered to my front doorstep, as it were. And she looks down at you, Mira, and does maintain eye contact as she says, truly grateful that they went above and beyond with such care. And then she looks back at Diana, and her eyes flick down to the chisel in her hand and will say, I see that you've regained your tools. How wonderful for you. What a boon. Young Mira Marchand, could you take that from her before she hurts herself?
Of course.
Yeah.
I need to buy time until we can.
Yep.
We're going to attack her. Like, it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's nothing morally wrong with any of this. It's fine. Mira will
Don't think about it. Go for it.
come and hopefully without too much resistance try to take the tools.
As you reach out a hand and place it upon the chisel, Diana will, in a whispered, growl, so that Horst hopefully cannot hear, she will say, if you do not give this back to me, I will chase you across the earths until I find you.
I am going to attempt to give her an imperceptibly small nod, and then I'm going to take them.
Make a stealth check.
Yeah. Fuck.
Oh no.
Okay. Well, the total's a 7 because I rolled a natural 1.
Oh fuck.
Damn.
So Mira gives just a curt yep, you got it.
Diana goes, if you take this from me, I'm gonna hunt you across the plains. And you go, and just do a couple really quick little nods, not even thinking. And then
Yeah.
you stop yourself. You can take the chisel and turn around, maybe with a petrified look. Maybe you hide it well. I would assume you hide it very quickly, what your true emotions are, before you turn back around to Horst, who looks at you, squinting now, the faintest breath of a smile upon her lips. Staring up, you, after your 30-minute voyage, 10 feet or 4 feet to the left, grab this chair and can begin your grand voyage back,
Yep.
taking 30 more seconds, limping, making a whole show of how injured you are before placing this chair, taking a deep sigh, maybe leaning on it for support for a few seconds, buying time. And as soon as you move away, Horst will raise a hand and will say, Sister, sit. We have much to talk about. It's been far too long. And she has a very flat expression. Diana looks to the two of you for a second, and will shake her head at you for a second, Mira, like for your nod and giving up the goat, as it were, to her approximation, and will move past you and take a seat. You see that the vines begin to wrap around her ankles, wrap around like her waist, almost like where a seat belt would wrap. They don't bind her hands just yet. And Horst will stand at her end, her wings tucked behind her back, very professional still. She places a hand on one of these circlets that sits in front of her, and she will slide it down the table towards you all. It stops within a hair of the edge of this long dining table, and she will say, "Could one of you be so kind as to place that upon her head, a crown fit for one of the last angels who lives?"
What is it?
A crown fit for one of the last angels who lives. I just said it.
I'm going to
Mira-
glance at
Yeah.
the other one that's on the table. I'm like, are you... I'm going to tilt my head and like, is this a crowning ceremony?
Of a sort, yes. Don't you want to find out where your friend is hidden away? Can't you just help me so quickly? Because the time does wane, and the hours are growing late into the night. As you both stand here, you contemplate that circlet, you look at it, you see a very you see a glint in those diamonds, which are around, like they're on like where it would sit just above your eyebrows, and the diamonds almost form a like band, like a small V, like when you would draw a bird in like the far distance as a child, like that V kind of shape. It's a form like that of diamonds. There's about there's 12 of them exactly.
Is there any chance I might be able to look at it and be able to do like some surmising of what it does? Like I have some understanding, like, you know, diamonds have to do with like necromancy magic of some kind, you know, circlets can block things out. You know, we saw that with the Bailey stuff.
By all means, you can make an Arcana check if you want to try to deduce your way out of this.
That is a 15. That's an 11 plus 4.
That's fairly decent. Yeah. You do know that circlets are quite potent. You know this from like all your enchanting classes. They're quite potent. If you want to do something magic with someone's mind, you would mostly put that in a circlet. Diamonds are a truly arcane gemstone, capable of doing raising up people of the dead, sending people across dimensions, these kinds of things. A very potent arcane focus. Diamonds are. Should this be truly an enchanted object of a sort, some sort of magical circlet for Diana to wear, deducing that it is something that would affect her mentally and would be quite powerful, those are easy for you to deduce, yes, with your schooling.
While Mira is doing this, I think, given Serenep's having watched like ceremonies and stuff like that,
Yes.
maybe she's like, oh, like, are you guys planning, like she starts asking like questions like, are you guys planning on like having like a feast? Is there going to be like a celebration? Because I know where I'm from, they have like there's like a number of days to like have like a parade, that sort of thing. Or does it work differently here? Like, what are the processions when it comes to crowning ceremonies? Like, trying to be like interested in whatever bullshit this is.
She does smile and entertain you for a bit. Wow, this is like what happens while Mira examines this, like not reaching out and touching it, but like looking at it, kind of trying to piece together things you had learned in lessons past. Horst regards you, Serenep, and will say, "There is no real established tradition in these things, but my sister and I shall wear these crowns fit for our position. We will re-examine our memories of old tonight, I think. And maybe perhaps after that, we could have a feast. I do like that idea. It is a celebration, or a thing to be celebrated, after all."
What's the betting house going to look like now that the other fiends are dead, now that it's the way you want it to be?
She looks at you, and will take a deep inhale, and will say, "Well, the betting house is not exactly what I want it to be. Not yet. Now, sister, these two are not helping me any further. They're delaying the process. Please, the circlet upon your head." And Diana, sitting in this chair, she glances very quickly up to you, Mira Marchand, with a foul look upon her face and will then, without waiting for you to approve what she's going to say or anything like that, turn back to Horst and will say, I will not be placing this damnable circlet upon my head, sister. While these people did help you, they did free me from my prison, locked in that damnable devil's domain for oh so many years, where you knew I was. Horse kind of recoils, or she puts her hands up at this, and you can hear her almost whisper, and she goes, so I did. Dionys continues, you knew I was rotting in that devil's prison. You could have sent people oh so many times to come save me. You could have done anything to help. Why did you never try to save me once? Horse kind of recoils, puts her hands up on the table, and will say, there's no way for you to know if I had have tried to save you before. What would Galvan have told you? Oh, knights in shining armor showed up to try to chisel you out of the ice. You have no way of knowing. And she'll look to you, Mira Marchand, and will say, did I ever imply that you were the first to try to go after her? My first resort?
No, you didn't.
And she'll smile, and with that turn back to Diana and will say, the truth is what she speaks. This time, at least. Diana bites her lip a little and will say, there was a mouth, some creation of this new interloper, Lem. It said that I saw you on the day of the change, lose your own head, and yet here you stand in front of me, hundreds of years later in a position of power. And she, at a loss for words, Horst will smile.
I don't like where this is going.
And will look to you, Serenep Cinderman, and will say, what is this of a creation? Was this the maw of deceit? Whimsy's own pet that told you these lies?
I think Serenep has been trying to keep like a confused face to pretend like this is the first time I'm hearing of all this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to say, I don't remember hearing a name for any such creature when we were there.
Oh dear.
Make a deception check.
Oh
for me.
no, it's gonna go bad.
Oh well, it was nice knowing you guys.
Am I hearing all of this?
Oh wait, wait. That's actually good though. Wait, that's a 19.
A 19. Yeah, Integrity Adelberry from the other room. You do hear this conversation growing almost in
tension.
There's growing anger in Horst's voice as her sister questions her, as Serenep and Mira buy you precious moments. Serenep Cinderman, you lie adequately, skilled. And Horst will put a hand on her forehead and say, this is growing very tiring. She looks not to behind her, but to kind of the waning light coming in from her office. It's shifting almost to like a yellow color from the orange that it was. And she will say, we run out of time this evening, though. And she taps on the table, like right next to the circlet in front of her. And she goes, we have a ritual which, as the moments pass, grows ever more difficult for me to complete, sister. Now, please. And now you see the vines wrap fully around Diana's arms, binding her fully to this chair. Like they gum around her neck and pull her back towards it, completely restraining her. Place the circlet upon her so that we can re-speak our oaths and have this foolishness behind us.
Luke, could you remind me again, what's the window situation here?
In here, there's nothing. There is only light coming in from beyond her office.
From beyond her office.
It's like it's like a yellowy sunset-y kind of light emanating in.
Can I do something?
Integrity Idleberry, you are inside this office, standing atop the desk, a safe zone amidst a floor of proverbial lava. You see that chalice. It is, again, wooden, beautifully carved, ornate. Perfect image of it is in your brain from when you had seen it before your speak with the disciple. What would you like to do? You see coins spilling out from it, falling to the ground, disappearing in phantom images of themselves, falling through the floor almost. Below it, there's like almost like a pit of tar. It seems suspended in the air, hovering. But behind you, you hear the conversation growing terse. What do you want to do?
If I recall correctly, they said that Winsler is in the chalice. Is that correct?
That was what was said, yes.
In the chalice.
Yeah.
I would like to use my my rope of climbing,
Yes.
and I would like to tie, like, using magic,
Mm-hmm.
because I am assuming that this is within 30 feet.
Yes, it is. It's only like 15 feet away from you.
I'm gonna use like one end to
tie
tie
to the
at like the
chalice.
bottom of the chalice,
Okay.
sort of like in a susceptible area where if I were to pull on it, it's gonna tip over.
Sure.
And
Absolutely.
the other part of the rope, I would like to be either tying it to the chair near me, where it's like if I hear a trigger of like what's happening outside, I can like kick it to drop the chalice
Absolutely.
and cause like
Yeah.
a ruckus,
You can.
while being able to navigate the desk if there's anything important there.
Of course.
Like, that's like my goal.
Sure. This rope, you don't even have to use like your mage hand or anything. The rope magically snakes out into the space between you and the chalice. It wraps around like a point above its center of mass, such that if you pull it over, everything will spill out quite easily. You tie the other end while your rope helps you. You tie the other end to this chair at Horst's desk. This piddly old wooden chair. Looks straight out of like your grandmother's kitchen, perhaps, though, you know. And then you can search, and you set yourself to searching the desk, yes?
Mm-hmm.
The drawers are overgrown with vines. To push one open from the front, at the very least, you would likely alert those vines to your presence. The voices grow ever louder outside. This is around the moment that Horst is saying, we only have moments for this ritual. The time is waning. What would you like to do?
If I recall, like Mira wanted to do something.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Mira Marchand. Oh, one detail that I've neglected for you, Integrity, on this second scene here within the office. From your vantage point up on the desk, you can so see out these windows and see the beautiful vista before you. There seems to be a large patio. There is little umbrellas, little lounging chairs on the right side. Maybe some fake grass put down. It looks foolish. It's billows in the horrible dust storm outside. Almost sand being thrown around, being scattered against the windows. To the left on that patio, there is a massive pile of ships, rafts, little dinghies strapped together, almost like a junkyard where there's cars piled together waiting to be compacted. Is what you can see on the left side there, out in that dust storm. There seems to be glass doors on either side of the office to exit out onto that wonderful patio. Maybe in times of, good weather, it would be a great place to tan, but the storm does so rage outside.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, you stand and try to think of a way to get into this desk. Meanwhile, outside, Mira Marchand, these vines have wrapped around Deanna's arms.
One more question. The door that we came in from behind
Yes.
us, is there any
Yes.
indication that it has been locked behind us?
No, it is fully open.
Okay. I think I know what I'm gonna do. Hopefully this will work. I'm going to say, okay, fine, I'll do it. I'm going to take the circlet. What I'm going to try to do, and maybe she will stop me in the process, I want to exit the door. I want to chuck it down the elevator shaft.
Mira Marchand. Mira.
Oh boy, chaos.
You pick it up. This graceful smile comes across Horst's face as she finally is getting what she wants. Her eyes shut for a second,
it.
and then she hears the 2 steps that you take out of the door, and her eyes snap open as she hears you running away. And she will scream out at you and say, "Halt!" Mira Marchand. That's not a terrible bonus, but it's a crit.
Oh.
Oh.
So does just a 25 manage to hit you?
Well, it's a crit,
God.
so let me just check. Yeah, that hits.
Perfect. As you take
Damn.
3 steps out the door, you don't even make it to that bird bath before a large vine wraps around your left leg and drags you. I need. Can you make it just a strength check for me at least, or a strength saving throw rather?
Strength save. Oh, that's pretty good. That is an 18 plus 1.
Oh, that's fantastic. It wraps around your left leg and stops you in place, restraining you, but it does not manage to push you to the ground as you feel it tries to do. The vine like snakes out from behind one of the curtained walls. Horse does so rise. She yells, "Halt!" She looks over to you, Serenep Cinderman will say, "Traitors within my own domain. What else should I have expected?" Integrity, you hear this yelling call out, and you see Horst, Serenep, and Mira raise her right hand, and she snaps just once, and the massive curtain above that hides her eye of delight pulls to the side, and the eye, this blood red eye swivels in its socket and stares down at you, Serenep. It makes eye contact with Diana, and then barely out the door, Mira still manages to see you. And then all of you see this dark mist begin to coalesce within the room. It flows. It is a darkness quite thick, Serenep, and it immediately envelops you, almost as if you had been out in the middle of the ocean, in the middle of the night. You can see nothing. It is pure, utter darkness which surrounds you. Mira Marchand, you can see it. You have a couple more seconds before it completely envelops you as this mist billows out into the waiting room. The young attendant, Eth, turns startled, and you can see it. It takes... It surrounds you and cuts you off from your surroundings just as quickly as it does him, just as quickly as it does Diplin the imp and Kreshel the captain. Integrity Idleberry, you see mist begin to trickle in as you hear this yelling outside, the kind of like twisting of vines. You can see that many of the vines in this room almost like twitch in reaction as Mira is grabbed outside. Do you want to trigger your little trap card and pull over the chalice?
Yes, this is what I would like to do. How far is the door towards the,
Towards the dining room?
not the dining room, the patio?
15 feet to your left or right.
Okay. I would like to jump towards the patio.
Oh, the door to the patio, absolutely.
The door to the patio that leads to the boats.
Of course.
And I then would like to cast a cantrip
Okay.
of
In midair.
gust onto the chair
To blow it out and pull the
to
chalice
blow it out
over.
and pull so that I am close to the boat in case,
Of course.
like when they are able to come.
Mist billows into this room. Make an athletics check. It reaches the precipice of the desk as you jump off towards one of these glass doors to the outside. You, in midair, can like turn your right hand and send a buffet of wind, knocking that chair over, triggering your trap. The chalice goes cascading onto the ground, coins flying out from it with a frenzy, making a horrible metallic popcorny sound. What popcorn would sound like if the kernels were metal. Integrity out of your athletics check to jump 15 feet.
That was a nat 20.
Nice.
Oh shit!
26.
Plus, okay, with a 26, you jump in the air. The gust even propels you further as well, magically enhancing your own jump. You land right on the step of the door and fall face forward into it. It does not open as it is locked, but you are stuck up on a ledge off of the floor, away from vines, face first into this window. And in the reflection, you can see the mist filling the room behind you. You hear a scream as just of anger as you see Horst push open the doors, and even more mist from the dining room begins to fill and flood into this room. Integrity, you hold your breath and push yourself against the door, kind of like pulling at the door handle, trying to get out onto the patio and away from this mist. However, it does so overtake you in your precarious position. You can not see anything in front of you. You can feel the glass and metal and like the ledge that you're standing on beneath your feet. You can hear the sound of those coins falling out onto the ground, just a horrible crashing of metal onto vines. You can hear the vines almost underneath, like You can hear them squeaking as they try to move and pick the chalice up, presumably integrity, but you can see nothing and less. The mist overtakes you and obscures your view of anything beyond your body. Serenep Cinderman, as the first person who was overtaken by the mist, your vision fades in ever so slightly. You still find yourself in a dark room, though the darkness is more mundane, less magical. There's no wet mist upon your skin. The air is quite dry in here. Dust is visible in the air. Stream of light comes in from a doorway partially blocked with rubble behind you. You stand in a triangular room that you've stood in once, maybe before in your life. And in a moment, Serenep, you're transported to a different place altogether. Almost a memory more than anything of weeks and weeks ago when you had descended into the sunken hatch with your good friend, Angelica Lindemann. You find yourself in a triangular room. There's urns dotting the corners. You were here once before, long ago, somewhat long ago, in the night that Angelica Lindemann had collapsed. You remember this. You probably think of it most nights, I would imagine. Standing before you, next to this urn, you seem to be moments before that precarious disaster, Serenep, where Angelica had tried to return a talisman to an urn, a simple task. You see your friend, Angelica Lindemann, standing there before you, dark hair pulled back, eyes bloodshot, face like contorted in what could only be pain, Serenep. She holds the talisman, that little inky black stone formed into a spiral, held on a leather strap. She holds it in her hand. In her left hand, she holds a dagger, which your memory does not remember that. That's not true. You're the one who had the dagger. She looks at you with these bloodshot eyes, Serenep Cinderman, and a ragged breath escapes from her mouth as she points now the dagger at you and will say, you're the reason I got sent to that place. You're the reason I went to a sleep that I could never wake up from. You're the reason that I came down to this place in at all, because you showed it to me. You showed it to me ages ago, and I was curious. I wanted to be more like you. You can see like tears of distress streaming down her face, Serenep. She holds this dagger out at you. It has an uncanny resemblance to the jade dagger Integrity carries, but that's not what your memory says. That shouldn't be the way it is.
And Angelica, Wait.
The world isn't enough for you. You had to be better than my sister. You had to be better than me. You had to be a humble person and to show that you were ever better than the two of us. My parents don't want me anymore. They want someone like you now. They want someone who's perfect like you. And she's holding the knife out at you, her hand shaking a little bit as she does, accusatorily.
Angelica, I'm so sorry about I'm sorry I couldn't help you sooner. You don't have to do this. We can still help you. I know we can still help you. Just, you need to put the knife away, okay? And I'm sure we can do something. I know we can do something.
Make a persuasion check.
My emotions. That is, oh shit, yeah, I have that's a 23.
23. Her hands are shaky, and Serenep, when you begin speaking, it almost seems as if she pulls the knife closer to herself. As you speak, it looks like she intends to do herself harm in some way. But before you finish, as you continue talking, as you talk her down, we can fix this, we can still figure this out, thinking, Serenep, of what you could have said that day, but you did not, her hand stops shaking. She drops the knife. She looks at the talisman in her hands and kind of drops it, a disgusted look upon her face, her breathing deep and ragged, and then she will look to you, Serenep, and in a moment she looks relieved, as if you have freed her from some burden, and then a contorted expression goes across her face again, and she will say, would that fate could have worked out differently, and I could have been saved on this day. And Serenep, your vision goes inky black again as Angelica in the room before you disappears in an instant. Mira Marchand, you feel the cold first and foremost hitting your skin. There was warmth above, but as you go lower and lower on this lift, the cold seeps in from the bottom of the tree. Around you, the wood takes focus. You can hear the creaking of the vines lowering you on this wooden platform. Next to you, there is a hunched woman, her skin a bright pink, her nose long and covered in warts, this look of defeat so vivid upon her face. Ferdinand standing right next to you, her hands bound behind her, you holding them, though that's not the memory, that's not what you remember. And she will look at you with a contempt upon her face, a contempt you don't remember. You remember a face of someone seeking pity, seeking an escape, seeking help, and she will, in a voice, say, "You sold me to my doom. You gave me up without even a fight. As if I were not even a person to you."
I did it to save you.
You did it.
I didn't know they were gonna. They tricked me too.
They tricked you.
They
You were
tricked
in
me.
control of me. You could have let me go. You could have let me run. You could have fought for me. When we get down to the bottom, you could have let me loose and given me a chance.
Yeah, I could have, and I didn't. I'm sorry.
She looks at you and like a soft expression. The expression from your memory does cross her face for a moment as you apologize. You reach the ground floor. Outside, you see technicolor snow flying from the sky. The ground covered in a blanket of bright white snow of your time in Isithil. You walk with Ferdinand taking the steps out. Crunch, crunch, crunch beneath your feet. Your footsteps in the snow, a deep red, almost as if you're walking, your feet cut open with blood leaking out everywhere. The same as when her head fell. That's what your memory is. But the snow here is perfect. The snow here is fine. You look around, you see not a gathered throng of grung with prisoners to hold hostage. You do not see Loud. You see yourself, Mira Marchand, standing there, the sword in your own hands. You look upon your own face, a face that is happy, the way you remember Loud's face being happy that he had gotten the best of this deal. And you look yourself in the eyes. The other one, the one wielding the sword, will say, "Any last words?" Not to you, but to Ferdinand, who will shake her head and bow to her knees. Mira, you see yourself raise the sword. Do you want to do anything?
I said I was sorry. I didn't say I regretted it. And I am so fucking sick of watching people die when I can't stop them. And I don't know what the fuck this is. I don't know who's doing this. I don't know who's making me see this. But if you're trying to make me crumble and fall apart from this, I won't do it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of fucking torturing myself and feeling sad because I can't save every single life. I am doing my best here. I did my best for you. I'm sorry I couldn't save you. Do it.
Mira Marchand, make a charisma saving throw for me.
Sure. Ugh, that's not a great roll, though. The total's a 17, 8 plus 9.
You yell this out at the world, at whoever's imposing this upon you, torturing you with these visions. You did your best, and you scream that out at the world. The sword cuts through the air, and you look down. Ferdinand is gone. The sword stuck in the ground. The other Mira's gone. The entire world around you feels cold, alone, empty, and the mist forms again and brings you back into darkness.
Jeez.
Diplin the imp.
Oh, God.
This is gonna be beautiful.
You sit in a cardboard box-sized apartment, sitting at the dining room table, looking out your window on the dust storm of Lem, taking a big drag out of a cigarette. A memory. This is a horrible, horrible night. The memory as you had it, it was at sunset, as much sunset as it can be in Lem. But here the night is pitch black outside the window. You breathe in deeply, the smoke in your lungs, remembering your time that you spent in this home. and then a horrible noise comes from the other room as someone screams in agony. You hear a voice that says, "Please, please, please, I'm innocent!" Come from the other room. Diplin, you take a drag of your cigarette, knowing that you sold this person out, knowing that you sold
Oh no.
the wonderful Philomena out. In that other room, you hear the fiendish cries and say, "Yes, hey, stop it! Hold still! We're gonna get in the bag. Hold still."
In the back.
You hear screaming, struggle.
Oh no.
Diplin, you see your own reflection in the window. It's a younger you, the one who the imp you were on this horrible day. And he takes a drag of his cigarette and looks out at you and says, "You didn't have to. You could have stopped it. You could have stepped in. You could have said it's the wrong person." And he takes a drag of the cigarette.
I could have. It was a mistake. I didn't mean to. I didn't think it would come to this.
Diplin, do you want to do anything to change what has already happened?
I think Diplin is the kind of person to just panic.
Mm,
I don't think he would try to fix anything. I think he would just be like disoriented.
you panic for the 2 minutes of struggle that you hear in the other room, and then a thump, loud. You take another drag from this cigarette, and then the fiend walks out from the room, a bloody burlap sack, his mottled red face and big chain around his neck, and he'll say, "Well, thank you for all of your service. The fiends will be mighty appreciative of this." And he flicks you a little silver coin and will say, "Use that yourself. Give yourself a break. Go down, be a different person."
Going to gently pick up the silver coin with 2 hands. Poor little imp hands shaking and trembling.
You pick this little coin up, trembling, and the darkness fades back in, leaving you alone with your own senses. Integrity, Idleberry. The feeling of the glass cold against your skin fades so quickly as this black mist envelops you.
Is my face smushed at least?
Your face is a little smushed, yes. And you come to your senses in a small room. The water under your feet is probably ankle high at this point. You see 2 people in front of you, lying on the floor, tied up, tossed there, both wearing their wonderful blue student robes, both looking beaten half to death. One, this messy brown hair, these brilliant blue eyes looking up at you as he's tied, the water ever growing higher. He has these scars across his face and neck and arms of what would be a tentacle stinging at him. He's breathing heavily. Bailey looks up at you with these pathetic eyes. And then your head drifts to the other form lying there in the water, the ever deepening water. It's not who you remember it to be, Ephrosyne. It's an orange-skinned tiefling. You can see yourself. The tall horns, the face. You look terrified, Integrity. And as Bailey has the scars of a tentacle around his neck, you can see black blood bleeding from your own back, clouding into the water. You see yourself looking up at you with a hope still in her eyes that something can be done. And Bailey will say in a pathetic little voice, "You promised me something that you could not have ever given. You promised me, and I believed you until the very end. And even when you had a chance, when you had so many chances to do something, you did nothing. You left me here, alone, afraid. You let her sink her tentacles back into my mind, take control of me. You just had to choose to stay and help. And you ran."
I did promise you. I really thought I could save you, but I just wasn't strong enough. You know that if I stayed in that room with you, none of us would have been alive.
And Integrity looks up into your eyes, her silver eyes sheening as she glares and says, "You promised that you would get us out of this pact, that you would do something. You're not powerful enough to fight against anything. You just stand by while people suffer. The water grows ever deeper. Tentacles begin to emerge from the murky depths and wrap around Bailey's own legs and yours, Integrity Idleberry. The door behind you swings open, an exit always waiting if you want to take the plunge. What do you do?
I'm gonna run in.
You're gonna leave?
No, like I'm gonna stay.
You run to Bailey and yourself
Yeah.
and try to pull them up from the murk. You feel your own feet sinking beneath you. Can you make an athletics check for me?
14 plus 6. Non-natural 20.
A non-natural 20. Integrity Idleberry, you grab Bailey under the armpit with your left hand and grab yourself like by the belt with your right and just try to pull them up with all your might, fighting up against these these dark tentacles which grab them and are trying to pull them to their doom, to your eventual doom. And you pull with all your might. You feel them ever so slightly leaving your grasp, and you hear a voice in the back of your head that says, "You could be powerful enough if only you gave in, if only you would give yourself entirely to me." As the progenitor's inky voice infects your mind, you turn your head, still trying to pull them up out of the grime. Do you say anything back to this voice?
I'm gonna find a way out.
And as you say that, you can feel the mist envelop you. You stuck in this war of attrition against those tentacles beneath, but not giving up on yourself or Bailey, not letting them sink into their doom. The mist coalesces around you, returning you to darkness. You all wake up, or not wake up, but darkness fades from you just as quickly as it came on, even quicker than it came on. Diplin, not you.
Diplin's dead.
You are all lying upon the floor. You can feel the vines writhing underneath you. Mira, the ones on your leg are trying to grab against you. You can feel that as you had yelled and screamed and kicked back against the world, they could grasp you no further than they already could in your waking life. Integrity Idleberry, you see you are slid down on the ground. You're back against the window now. You can see Horse has strode into this room, wings completely extended to either side, a fury in her eyes. Her horn glows with a slight red malevolence, and she looks at you and goes, "You!" as you stand here in her room, and the chalice has been overturned, ever spilling coins out onto the ground. There's there's a mound of coins piled out along the ground here, ever growing in size. Serenep, you are slumped against the side of the room, your head against the table, almost as you had been in your vision, reaching out towards Angelica. But all of you are returned to your corporeal, real-ass bodies now, as Horst screams and raises a hand as if moving to strike you, Integrity Idleberry. But we'll deal with that next time on Trials and Trebuchets.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
And sorry, Diplin is still writhing on the ground in pain, foaming at the mouth. Nonetheless,
Oh my God.
Sarah, could you give us an outro, please?
Yeah, absolutely. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Trials and Trebuchets. Lots of cool cutscenes. I think that if it were a movie, there'd be awesome montage music stuff. But
Cutting words.
for now, no, it's a good thing. I liked it. And I guess we'll have to settle with cool fan art. Wink, wink. If you enjoyed this episode, it would mean so much if you were to draw cool fan art and leave us a rating or a review on Apple Podcasts or whatever podcatcher app you use. We read all of them. They make us so happy. They mean the world to us. If you would like to see Instagram fan art, draw fan art, check out teasers and our other exclusive content, you can check us out on Instagram at Trials and Trebs. You can also chat with us and other listeners and post fan art on our Discord server, which you can find the link to in our episode descriptions. For those of you who want to be a little bit extra generous, besides fan art, the other way that you can support us is by going to patreon.com/trialsandtrebs, where we have lots of cool benefits like DM notes, getting to vote on bonus episodes, early access to bonus episodes in CNC, blooper reels, and more. Finally, we also have a merch store.
Wow,
Merch store.
What's the link to that one again?
I think it's trialsandtrebuchets.com.
No,
That's
no,
true.
that is.
However, it's also Trebuchets.com. Both
Trebmerch.com.
links lead you to the
Trebuchets.com.
same place. You're kind of being railroaded. There's no agency no matter what link you go to. Trials and Trebuchets or Trebmerch. It's all an illusion of choice. But you can go to either one, and they will both take you to a site where there is a wonderful amount of merch, t-shirts, stickers, and more. I'm sorry we deceived you by telling you there were 2 URLs, but I think you're going to find anything you would enjoy on both of them. I don't know what this outro was, but I hope you enjoyed this episode. I know I did. See you next
See you
time.
next time
Bye.
for
See you next
everybody.
week.
Next to
See you next
we're gonna
time.
land in the next station of this fucking train ride, I guess, next time. Until then, see you later, everyone.
See you.
See you
in
later,
French.
alligators.
See you next time.
Au revoir, French speakers.